Welcome to the Hometown Legends podcast series with your hosts, Mary and Mello. Today, we have a special guest that was selected by the New Jersey Nets with the second pick in the 1991 draft, Kenny Anderson. Kenny, thank you for joining us today on the Hometown Legends podcast series. It is an honor to have you here with us today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on, and thank you for having me.
For sure. Mr. Anderson, we like to start off our interviews by breaking the ice. And we usually ask the question, what did you do for your pregame ritual prior to a game?
Coffee, coffee. I drank a cup of coffee. That's why I got into coffee. Drank coffee. That's when I sat in my locker, drink my coffee, and just concentrate on the game. I went out, got my shots up and things of that nature, but I always needed a cup of coffee. And it was just every time I stepped in the locker room, cup of coffee.
Do you think that cup of coffee is what made you go, I guess, in a sense?
That's what that's what I thought. So I just kept doing it because I did it once and I had a big game and I never stopped after that. That was one that, that's what I believed in is coffee, one cup of coffee I would drink. And the ball boys and all that, they were suited, they was ready for it. They said, "Coach, thank you. Man, I got it going. Got it going."
For sure. So let's get right to it. And let's start as your freshman year in high school. You went to the famed powerhouse Archbishop Malloy in New York, in Queens. You was rated number one in the state of New York as a freshman. You made the front New York City Sports front page.
Yeah.
How did it feel being number one in the city of New York at the age of 14 years old?
It was awesome, but I always mess around. I'm older now, but I was number one through the country, not just New York. But it was awesome. I was number one 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. I had a great basketball career. My high school was awesome. I played varsity as a freshman, so that said something. And I never started as a freshman in high school because my coach said you'll make the team, but you can't start because we have another young man on the team, Greg Tracy, who was a senior, who was highly wanted to get recruits to colleges and stuff like that. So I understood that. I was just happy to make the team.
Who was your inspiration growing up? I mean, Queens, we know it's a long list of great players. Kenny Smith, yourself, and New York as a whole. Who was your inspiration growing up? Who did you look up to?
So bottom line, Vincent Smith is Kenny Smith's older brother. So it was Kenny Smith. Everything he did, I wanted to do, and I wanted to do it better. He had all the trophies. I was up there, but I'm going to Malloy High School. Vincent Smith meant the world to me because I probably wouldn't have made it without him. My first day I got in Malloy, first week leading up to my first day. So I had to, we had to wear a tie, shirt and tie and all that. So I didn't know how to do a tie. So he was there to help me do my first tie, just everything, little stuff like that. But his brother went up to his apartment. His brother had all these trophies. I said, I'm gonna get more than him. I'm gonna get more trophies than him. Everything he did, I wanted to do better, and that's the main thing. He was a great student. I wanted to be a good student. Everything he did, I watched his interviews. On TV. Kenny Smith was that guy for me.
You set the all-time state record for scoring in New York with 2,621 points. Aside from that cup of coffee that you had every game to get prepared for the game.
Not in high school. Go ahead.
Say that again.
Not in high school. I didn't have a cup of coffee in high school.
Oh, okay. Well, in college, you had that cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But what did you do to, I guess, get prepared to score that many points? Like, what did you do to lead your team?
I just worked hard, in high school from 9th to 12th. I was just zoomed out. I was focused because I wanted to take care of my mother. Mm-hmm. And I asked Vincent Smith, back when I was like 15, he said, you could do it by playing ball. And I just zoned in. I said, what did it take? You got to go to school. You got to get good grades. I did that. and you got to work out on your game. We stayed at the Lost Battalion Hall. That's a recreation center right down the block from where I grew up. I used to be in there. It closed at 10, but they kept it open for me an extra hour at 11. So we got a lot of shots. I worked out on my game there. It was just awesome. Growing up where I grew up, the left rack at the time was huge for me, huge. You know, and I loved it because it was just so many different varieties. I could have got in trouble, but I stayed focused on my goal, and that was to take care of my mother, go to school, get a good education, and play basketball. I was zoned in. That's what I did.
How was that transition leaving New York and going down to Georgia?
Oh, it was lovely, and that's why it was lovely. Southern hospitality.
Mhm.
That's why one of the reasons I chose to go to Atlanta, Georgia Tech, was this also. Those two, going to Archbishop Malloy, going to Georgia Tech. That was the sixth. I played 4 years in Malloy, 2 years at Georgia Tech. Was the best 6 years of my life. That's the best 6 years of my life.
By the time before you got to Georgia Tech, at the end of your high school career, you was a 4-time All-City player, and that was like the first time since Lou Alcindor, who most people know him by as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. How did that feel, and did you know the significance of that moment? Being compared to Lou Alcindor?
Not at this time. I just was a humble kid. I just wanted to make it. I wanted to do the right things in life, and I get a little shook up talking about my growth. And Malloy means the world to me. My high school means the world to me. Jack Curry,
Take your time.
Jack Curry, my high school basketball coach. He means the world to me. And then the teachers, Brother Terrence, Miss Langerano, they was good people. They helped me, with my growth as an individual, not just a basketball player. So my school, I went to my high school from 7:30 in the morning to 9 at night for 4 years straight home. That's the concentration span I had. That's what I did at an early age. And so my high school, if you know me, you know that I love my high school, Archbishop High School. And I used to go back once in the summer all the time to visit. And now we got girls in there. It's like, I don't think about 1,600 students, 800 boys, 800 girls. But we didn't have girls when I went to school. It was just all boys. And it's a great academic school, one of the best in the country. And but they cared. They cared more than just basketball player. So that's and I loved it. Every aspect of the word love is really deep, and my mother loved it. So I remember when I graduated, they did a 30-minute feature on me. It was just awesome, man. It was awesome, and I was getting all the publicity through all the papers, Daily News, New York Post, the biggest, the New York Times I was in. It was just crazy. They got New York Times. That was like a great, back then, New York Times. If you read that, you was high class. And I was in the sports section. So I was like, wow. And high school. So the New Jersey Nets, the Knicks, the New York Mets, Yankees, the Islanders, the Rangers. No, it was Kenny Anderson. It was Kenny Anderson in New York. And I loved it. But I was very humble with it. All the attention I was getting, I was very humble because I just wanted to make it. But it's just a blessing the way my life has turned out. As far as basketball is easy, life is hard. That's the documentary. My motto. That's what I live by. And I gave it to my documentary where they was doing it. I said, this is what we got to go with. And it hit right. It's hit right on the button. It hits the way my life is gone.
What is something that you learned in your high school career, whether it was on or off the court, that you carried with you when you went to college?
A bunch of things. You know, how to be a teammate. That's the number one. How to be a great teammate. And my coach gave me the recipe because I learned it from being a point guard and guard at Malloy High School running the team. He used to let me run the practices. So it was just after freshman year, I just ran the practices. You know, it was just second nature to me, and how to get along with people. I changed my whole life when I went to Malloy. I was eighth grade, sixth to eighth. I was crazy. I never with authority, everything, with authority, how to treat people. It taught me so much. You know, going to Malloy and just the whole aspect of being a team player, being a person, taught me everything. Because I didn't have that, you know, that life of a 13, 12, a normal 13, 12-year-old. I was like thrown into the fire and I had to learn on my own, my coaches, because I was I was popular. So it was like, boom, take it. And I did pretty well with it. Tom Chachowski, he just passed away, and he was the scout. He's a New York high school scout. He scouted everybody in the world. He went to Malloy. He passed away. It was very hard for me, you know. He was a great man. He was a great man. But when I played in the CYO 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I was just great talent. But I wasn't a good teammate. So it grew. And I grew because of him. Because of Tom Chachowski. You know, he said some things. He didn't groom me, but he said some things. I kept getting better. And that's what I am now. You know, you can't always, you know, you got other people, and to not so much to take care of. I have my family to take care of, but there's other people you got to be real respectful of, and that came when I was young. I had to learn young, 13, 14. I picked up a lot of things.
You know, and it sounded like it was a village that helped you along the way, and that's a great thing.
Yes. That's
Um,
what
when
yeah.
when the time came for the recruiting process, you ended up choosing going to Georgia Tech with the great Bobby Cremins. You
Yeah.
know, he had some great point guards. You yourself, Mark Price, Stephon Marbury, Travis Best. What was that process like going through the whole recruiting process, though? Was it always Georgia Tech, or what was it that made you choose Georgia Tech?
It was real quick for me. It was Georgia Tech or Syracuse. I wanted to go to Syracuse. My mother, because of Pearl Washington from New York, that's why I wanted to go to Syracuse. But my mother said, "You're going to Georgia Tech," so I went to Georgia Tech. So that was it. Because Coach Crimmins, they recruited my moms and me together. And my mother went with the Southern Hospitality. We went to visit down. It was great. I visited Syracuse by myself, but that was great for me. I had a great time with DC. Sherman Douglas was there. He was leaving, but he was a senior. They had a great team. It was going to be me, Derek Coleman, Billy Owens was coming with. It would have been awesome. I wanted to go to Syracuse, but my mother wanted me to go to Georgia Tech, and my mother won. She was like, "You going to Georgia Tech?" So I went there, and everything lined up for me. It was great playing with Dennis Scott, Brian Oliver, Lethal Weapon 3. It was just awesome, man. It was awesome going down there to coach Bobby Crimmins. He's from the Bronx. I'm from Queens. So that New York connection was there. It was like, wow. It was like not a fairy tale, but I guess a fairy tale because my high school and then everything was going well for me. It was a blessing, man. Like I said, it was a blessing. But my first 6 years, like basketball was easy. so easy for me. Just, coming to work out and practice, work out with myself, and go to class. Georgia Tech was awesome. I loved it. I loved the school environment, everything.
You brought up Lethal Weapon 3, right? You play with, like you said, Brian Anderson, the great Dennis Scott, Malcolm Mackey. You guys were talented, had one of the best runs in NCAA March Madness college
Yeah.
basketball history. Would you speak about that brotherhood that you guys had?
Oh yeah, the brotherhood still lasts. We call each other. We're still tight. We still talk to each other. See how our families are doing. It will never go nowhere. We got a bond, an everlasting bond. That whole team, it was just a great team. We went to the Final Four in 1990. Played at UNLV. We lost, but we won the ACC tournament. It was awesome. But Dennis Scott, we talked to. He working. He's doing well. He works for NBA TV, TNT. He works. Brian Oliver does some ACC games. Malcolm Mackey, I talked to yesterday. We just Brian DeMalik was on that team. Great. Carl Brown, Johnny McNeil, just everybody. We got a close knit team. I had one in high school and I have one in college. So it just goes on and on. This was a great group of guys playing for and going for one goal, and that's to win. And you have to learn it. You have to learn it. To win like that under any circumstances and accepting it, the roles that you play, accept it and play and help your team win. Help. It doesn't matter if you're playing 30 minutes to 5. You just got to give it your all. And that's the type of team and the young men that I had on my team. They were just great people.
So you played 2 years at Georgia Tech and you decided to forego your last 2 years of eligibility to enter the NBA draft. How did Georgia Tech playing there help you prepare for the NBA draft and your NBA career?
Well, I wanted, now I'm going to tell you a secret that is out there. I wanted to leave my senior year. I didn't want to leave Tech.
Okay.
I was having too much fun. It was a great situation to be in. But I didn't want to go. But my coach, Coach Crimmins, college guy, they was recruiting Travis Best. So after me, so he was kind of like, so I waited all the way until like 24 hours. I had to put it in my name, and my coach did the research of the top 3 teams. So my coach was like, you going top 3. You gotta go. So I made it my decision to go. I really didn't want to leave Tech. I was having too much fun, but I wanted to take care of my mother, and that's one reason I left. In 1991, I went number 2 in the draft. But and then Travis Best came to Georgia Tech. He was recruited, but we could have played together, or he could have just sat for another year and let me play all the minutes. But no, it was fine. Playing in the NBA, I went number 2. It was a joy. I played 14 years in the NBA, so I'm blessed. And now I'm coaching. I played for now 7 different teams, different coaches, and I say that it's a blessing playing different teams because I had to learn from a lot of different coaches. So it's great. It was great for me. But back then you wanted to be a John Stockton, come on, play with one team your whole career. And I say that because I'm not sure if that would have been good, for what I wanted to do with my life after basketball. So I learned from so many different coaches, and I love it because I take little bits and pieces from all the coaches I learned from and put it into now where I coach. So it's awesome to learn that way.
Selected by the New Jersey Nets, going second round, you were the youngest player in the league your rookie year. Was there any player that mentored you throughout your first year?
No, nobody gonna mentor you. They all jealous, envy of my contract, everything.
Okay.
The NBA was different back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cold world, so you had to just get in when you fit in, and I learned that.
Okay.
My contract, guys are older, they mature, They play hard. It's different. It's a different game back then in the NBA.
Right.
Why this guy got this money? I didn't get it. So it's all right. So you got to compete. You got to compete.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the NBA, and that's life. And I understand. I understood it. So, coming from where New York I came from, I understood it. But then the way what I was, came at Malloy and Georgia Tech. So it became a business, and I had to understand that playing in the NBA.
You mentioned that, at college you wanted to play with Derek Coleman at Syracuse.
Yeah.
That wish ended up becoming reality 2 years later for you, right? Derek Coleman was drafted #1 overall by the New Jersey Nets. You came the following year in '91. What was that experience like? What was it like playing with DC?
Yeah, we talk like once. We were talking once a week. He's in Detroit. He's doing great with the youth program, and that's the one thing he's great at. He's doing in Detroit. He's a great man. Everybody thinks he's that he doesn't get the love he deserves, but he's one of the best that ever played his position in the NBA. He's just a great man, and you learn a lot of things when you don't play no more in the NBA. You start getting really to know people for what it is. I say he's the best four that I ever played with at any level. He could do everything I could do, but he's bigger, stronger, and everything. He could use, and he's left-handed. He can use both. He can dribble. He can pass, post up. He's just a great talent, great player. So we still talk about our past. We made the All-Star team in '94 together. It was just awesome.
Okay, it's a term now called the Big Three,
Yeah.
right? If we're gonna talk about Big Threes, you guys probably was one of the first Big Threes, if we exclude the late great, the Lakers, the Showtime Lakers, right? You, Derek Coleman, and may he rest in peace, Drazen Petrovic. And you guys was coached by the late great Chuck Daly as well. What was that experience like? I mean, knowing you guys were young, talented, shooters, could do everything. Was it you guys' mission to take the league by storm?
Yeah, well, I think guys knew us by then, but we wanted to take the lead by storm. We was. And that's rest in peace, Drazen Petrovic, and that guy was an awesome player. And that when he passed, I got traded out, DC got traded, everything went downhill with the New Jersey Nets. But if he wouldn't have passed, we would have kept getting better, kept growing together. Us three, it could have been something special. I'm telling you, it would have been something special. But we would never know. But that team, that team was awesome. We had Cliff Morris, Chris Morris was there. We had Jason Williams played a little bit. He was on the bench a little bit, but he played. I don't know some of the guys, but we had a good team. But we couldn't beat Chicago with Michael Jordan. That's Michael Jordan was tough, and Cleveland was tough. And the Knicks was tough. It's like, and Orlando was tough. So it was like 4 or 5 teams in the East that was tough. But we was coming with it though.
Okay. You became an All-Star in 1994. That year, what was it with your growth, in the NBA that helped you become an NBA All-Star?
I was thinking that for the NBA, my work ethic changed a little bit. I worked extremely hard on my body, myself. And just practice make perfect. Not practice. It's how hard you work at practice that make perfect. Everybody use that practice. No, it's how hard you work. And I worked extremely hard that off season, going into the season, because I had a rough first year. I didn't play as much, so I was focused. And when I'm focused, things happen. Positive things happen. And that's what happened for me. I just worked extremely hard, my body and my game. And I came back into training. I was ready.
when you get throughout your career, who was one player that that gave you your biggest challenge?
Oh, it was a few. It was Tim Hardaway and Kevin Johnson. Those guys. That was, shoot, it was tough playing against them guys. I only played them twice a piece because they was on the West Coast, so I was glad about that. So I learned a lot from them guys. They was awesome players. But everybody in the East was different, and certain players was different. But those two was extremely tough to guard.
Now, you were traded a couple of times, and in 96, you signed with the Trailblazers. In 98, you were traded to the Raptors. You did not want to play in Canada. Why was that? Why did you
Well, it's
refuse?
just tax purposes. It's tax purposes only.
Okay.
At the time, they changed it now, but it was just tax purposes.
Tax
I didn't
purposes
want to play
at the
there.
time. Okay.
I just didn't want to play there. Just taxes. And I was so grateful. Rick Pitino is a New Yorker. I watched him when he was with the Knicks. He was in Boston. He traded for me, so I was happy. Great.
Now we kind of moved past college, but I kind of want to go back just because who
Yeah.
you are. You was a star in high school, a star in college, a star in the league. You're coaching college kids, college student athletes now at Fisk University. And I want to talk about NIL first before we get into your coaching strategy and with your kids. What advice or how do you feel about college athletes having the ability to have NIL
It's
deals?
great. There's no more cheating. You don't have to cheat no more. Or when I was in school, I probably wouldn't have to play in the NBA no more. I would have made all the money in the world. I would have been cool because I would have raked up. Living in New York, I'm like, what? The sponsor, the money I would have been getting, and that's what my main concern is. How are the kids? Are they going to be still motivated to play the game in college? You give it the money, you give it. I don't. That's the tough part. I understand you take care of yourself, but you're just playing for money. It could get away from you. Your focus and all of that, and that's what I'm bothered by a little bit. But I say take care of the kids in college, NIL deal. But I would feel now they should have an account, and it should be based, from college, so they can be taken care of, getting food, clothes, on their own. That's how they should monitor it. Give them a check every now and then out of that money. But I don't get, it's kind of tough to deal with from where I came from, and now I'm coaching. But I see the difference. You got to help these young men when they're playing it, and they're getting money for your school. I made so much money for Georgia Tech. I ain't seen none of that money.
And that's my thing with that. Do you feel the NCAA should be doing more with all the money that they're making off of the backs of college athletes?
Yeah, it's a given. They should be doing it. So then the schools, back in my day, you got to cheat and get it. Why? You're getting television deals. Come on, help some of these young men out. All of them, colleges. If you make the tournament, definitely you should have been getting paid some type of money. Every team should have got paid. And I don't understand it. And now they're doing it. So now you don't have to, cheat and all that. And a lot of young men that played on my level played. Come on, we was getting money. Come on, we had to hide it, but we was, you getting paid. And that's now you don't have to hide it, and that's a plus. That's a plus.
You're coaching at Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. It is at HBCU, and they brought you in to basically build the basketball program.
Yeah.
You said that teamwork is something that has shaped you. What is something that you instill in your players now to help them get prepared?
Yeah,
for everyday
definitely.
life?
Yeah, definitely. I try to give life lessons to these guys on my level. I don't know, 1% might make it, but overseas you're gonna have a good opportunity to make it. Pros, but I'm coaching here and I love it because I'm giving back. I'm giving back. For all my coaches that's done for me, I got to give it to these young men. And I love the college game. I love it on this level because I can build, and they teaching me, and I'm working on as a coach. It's harder to be a coach than a player. I was a great player, but now I'm coaching. I see it. It gets frustrating at times, but I love it. I'm young. I'm still growing as a coach, and and it's great. And they teach me something new every day. But I tell them, you guys got to work extremely hard, not only on the basketball court, but in the classroom and being a righteous human being, taking care of yourself, taking care of your teammate, taking care of just people in general, just being a better person. And that's what I try to teach those young men that I coach. It's about work ethic, getting in, coming into practice, doing your stuff on the team. Then your strength and conditioning coach, working that aspect of it. So it's a process. It's a process. And we all, you, me, everybody, we all into it. We gotta grow as human beings from stage 20, 30, 40, 50. You gotta grow. If you're still the same as 25, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
How was that transition from you going from the NBA to coaching?
It's tough. Like, I just played it. A lot of my friends that played in me, they won't coach. But I got to give back. And I love doing it. And I want to build this program up. And it's going to take some time. But I got to build it up, build a culture, just build everything up. And it's great. Like I said, it's good. Like a lot of guys would love to be at the D1 level and assistant. I don't want to be assistant. I want to be able to build a program. And this is exactly what I want. But it's not easy, very tough. But the mindset, and I have it. You just gotta critique your mind and go from basketball to administration. Just get it. And it's tough. I've been there 3 years, and from time to time, it's frustrating. But you just gotta just deal with it and keep moving forward.
Right.
And I think the number one thing I tell my team: stay positive. Never see no negativity. Just forget that. I hate negative people. They're not gonna get you nowhere. Let's go for the problem. Okay, we know what's the problem. Let's knock that down. We gotta figure out what to do. We don't gotta talk about the negativity. We gotta figure it out and keep moving ahead. Not with complaining, critiquing everybody, lying, cheating. No, we gotta get it right. And in time. But in time. We hopefully will turn it around. I'm gonna turn it around. Or I'll get fired first. It don't matter, but I'll try to turn it around.
What do you think has been your biggest challenge trying to build up this team?
The biggest challenge is at Fisk. Do they appreciate the basketball? Do they appreciate the volleyball? Do they appreciate the golf? Do they appreciate sports? That's we got the new gymnast team. That's awesome for Fisk. Now let's grow the whole programs, and that just do they appreciate us? Do they appreciate us? And that's the problem. I understand it's a great academic school. My daughter's going to graduate from here. May 1st is graduation, so she's here. It's great, but here I am trying to build a basketball program. Help me. Give me some love. And that's the main thing. Not just help me, but you got to help all the coaches that's trying to do the right thing with their sport. And we got some great coaches doing some great things. We just need a little bit of help.
You're at the HBCU at Fisk University. Mo Williams is down at Jackson State
Yeah, we're
University.
gonna play them next year. We're gonna
Nice,
play them.
great. I can't wait to watch that game.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you feel the state of HBCU basketball is trending with guys, NBA players as yourself and Mo Williams?
Oh, it's great. We gotta keep building. You gotta want these guys to, we played it, he played it in the NBA, and all these guys that we coach, they want to make it. They want to make it. So we got the ingredients for them. They got to listen and just do what we ask. They got to go to school, get good grades, go work, stay in the gym, stay in the lab, work out on your body, work out on your shot, everything, your ball handling skills, and then you can get it. And then you might not get to the NBA or whatever, but you overseas, you might can get a good job because he's connected. I'm connected. We can help these young men, and not only in basketball but in life. And that's what I love to do. So and my team, these guys understand that, and they say they love me, but you just don't you don't know.
And I didn't want to leave out Bonzi Wells. Bonzi Wells is also at the HBCU coaching as well, right? Yeah. So, we're transitioning into an era where a lot of the older coaches that was in NCAA basketball and the NBA is kind of starting to phase out. Rod Strickland is in New York coaching. Hubert Davis is at North Carolina. Jerry Stackhouse is at Vanderbilt. You guys, former players, is all getting involved in the game of basketball. How impactful will that be, for student athletes to know, okay, these are guys I can go on YouTube and see and learn the game, learn the business, and learn how to be a professional athlete if the opportunity presents itself?
It's great that all those guys want to give back. And I think, the more the merrier, we could just build. Now, different programs, we see it. I'm at Fisk. Rod Strickland is at LIU. Stack is at Vanderbilt. He's doing a hell of a job this year. So give him a lot of credit. All of them. Mo Williams is over at Jackson, and Bonzi is at. We played Bonzi and them this year. We lost the overtime, so we had a good game against them. So I was happy about that. But it's when I see those guys, it's a blessing. I love it because they're in it. They're in it. They're giving back. They're giving back, and they're helping these young men. And this is the thing. We're just coaches. You playing for an NBA guy, you should listen and learn. But some of them is, some got it, some don't. But we, with all the connections we have, you can play. Once you finish, you can have a good career overseas or somewhere, or get a job. You could get a job in the NBA, get a job over anything, because we did it already. And you guys got to listen and learn. Because I'm still learning about coaching. And I've been only coaching for 3 years now. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Okay, real quick, this is the Hometown Legends podcast series. Today's special guest is Mr. Kenny Anderson. Let's switch over to your movie, Mr. Chibbs. Let's talk about how that documentary came about, please.
Jill Campbell did a hell of a job directing it. Barry Green, I forgot. That's my guy. He put all the money into it, sponsorship. And I'm just so thankful that we got it done, and everybody can get the real Kenny, and that's real. It's a well documentary done by Jill Campbell. She did a hell of a job. It's my life story, and it's real. If my mother was living, I probably wouldn't have been real. I would have had to be fake, but she's not. So I had to open it up. I opened it up, about myself. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's still, you go see it. It's on Amazon, Prime Amazon. Look it up, Mr. Chibs, and that's my nickname. That's what everybody in New York and Atlanta called me, Chibs. My mother called me Mr. Chibs when I did something positive, good grades, passed the test. Oh, Mr. Chibs, that was my name, and stuck with me, and it's always going to be there for me because that's my mother and she's not here. So it's very emotional when I think about it. But everybody in Left Rack City, Queen, called Chibs. So Kenny wasn't, Kenneth wasn't even. It's just my school name. Yeah. So if you ain't see it, you got to see my documentary. You would learn something. You learn something about it, and how passionate I am about the game, and teaching these young men how to maneuver and how to live their lives.
Let's speak about the other documentary that you starred in as well,
Yeah.
New York City Point Guards.
Yeah.
That was, a great documentary. I mean, pretty much anybody in America could look at New York and identify a point guard that they identified with growing up, right?
Yeah.
How special? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you finish it. Yeah.
Oh, as all the point guards in there, how special was that to be mentioned with all the great point guards from New York City?
It was a blessing. I was waiting for them to do it, and Kevin Durant's people, his production company, did it. They reached out, and I was like, "What? Yeah, about time. This is New York, so about time somebody did and I got all the calls from my New York guards, and it's not that much time to put everybody on. So it's so many of us come out of New York. That's great ball players, but they had to pencil in and do it right, and they did it right, I believe. With Pearl. See, all the guys that I grew up watching, Pearl Washington, Kenny Smith, Rod Strickland, and Mark Jackson, those was before me that I watched. Then in my era in New York, wasn't too many, but then Stephon Marbury, and I don't even remember back, I got to see it again. But it's just a great documentary of the point guards in New York City. Awesome. It was an awesome piece.
Keeping your name out of it, right?
Yeah.
And point guards that you just listed, some newer guys or some guys after you, some younger point guards. Who would be your top 5 point guards after you from New York?
In New York, Stephon Marbury. Man, Shamgar, he was in it. He was pretty good. Shamgar, Stephon Marbury. I don't remember all of them, but those two, those were great point guards. They had the handles, passing ability. Stephan's everything. He could score. He could shoot the jumper. They was magnificent in New York growing up. Shamgar and Stephon Marbury was awesome. But it's a bunch of us. I don't. It's so many that I forget. But those two younger version. They was awesome. And Talik Brown, he's from Left Rack, so he was there. He's from my hood. He was in it. He's younger than me, but he was awesome. He's one of the top point guard. It was awesome when I saw him in it. It was awesome.
In 2008, you were inducted into the New York City Basketball Hall of Fame. How did that feel? Explain how the feeling was during that time.
It was incredible to be inducted into the New York Hall of Fame. And a lot of people, talk, there's some people say I should be in the Basketball Hall of Fame, but I am. High school jersey is in the Hall of Fame next to Kareem's. So it is what it is. But New York, being in the New York Hall of Fame, and I tell you, and I'll be honest, I'm honored. That's all that matters to me. I got in there. I don't need to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm in New York Hall of Fame. And that says something. It's a blessing. I'm older now, so I think about it I see all these guys getting nominated, getting in it, and it's all good. I know what I did in the game of basketball. I was one of the best, period. But you got the media people. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
I would say this. You may not, like you said, you may not be in the NBA or the Basketball Hall of Fame, but in many hearts and minds of us
Yeah.
that watched you growing up, you're loved all across America. So your
Yeah.
impact on the culture and basketball is priceless.
Yeah. You absolutely right. It's priceless, and that's what I care about. And I'll keep giving back, man. I'll keep giving back and this is great. I love my fan support because I've always kept it real with y'all, and I kept it real with everybody. And y'all was out there buying the tickets to see me perform, and I love it. I love it. Y'all was one of the reasons that I came out and I played extremely hard, and I enjoyed the game of basketball because of that's one of the reasons, because of my fans. But just like when y'all called me to do this show, I said, yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's just something, in me that I gotta give back. I gotta give back.
And again,
And which
thank
one
you.
do you-
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, most definitely.
I was just going to say, and again, thank you for taking out the time of your day just to join us here, because that's very important, especially what you're doing with Fisk and everything. I mean, time is of the essence, and we
Yeah.
know that you're a busy man, and we just want to say thank you for that.
No, it's a pleasure, and whatever, just call me and I'll try to make it work. I'll try to make it work. But this was great that I was able to get on and, spread the love and what I'm going through and let everybody know I'm good. I had a health scare. My wife called me this morning at 4 years. It's going on my 4 years. So it was real emotional. She started crying, had a stroke. She said, I'm doing better. And that's why I love talking to interviews, because it makes me, I'll be forgetting a lot of things. I got to write everything down. So, it's just, and today was my anniversary, about 4 years. I had a stroke. So, it's just one of those things that I got to keep giving back and helping people. That's the main thing. Help. That's what I try to do. Because I'm blessed. He saved me. So God upstairs. So I don't have no more gripes. I just try to live the right way. That's all I do. Try to live the right way. That's it.
For sure. I mean, take your time. We definitely, it's blessings that you're still here. Like you said, God kept you around. He kept you around for a reason, to keep giving back.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Sir.
They kept me around for a reason. And I got to see it, and I got to get motivated, and I got to just, and I'm getting better talking to people. But I shut down. I'm a loner. Number one, I'm a loner. I'm always in the house, campus house. So I'm just I got to better myself and get out more like I used to. Get out and talk to people and get my verbiage better. That's why I don't like doing certain interviews no more, going certain places because of it. But I got to get better doing it. I got to. I have to. For myself.
Okay. Before we get up out of here, we have like 10 minutes left. And again, this is the Hometown Legends podcast series hosted by Miss Mary Ashley and myself, Mello Williams. Today's special guest is basketball legend, Mr. Kenny Anderson. Last night we saw the All-Star game. You was an All-Star yourself. The NBA has changed from watching you play, the era before you. What is your thoughts about the state of the NBA today, and what needs to change?
And I don't think it could change. They changed it in the playoffs. You got to be more physical. Now it's 3-point shooting. Lane is wide open. It's no more bigs. So you can play small ball, but when I played, it was physical. But the scores was 79 to 75, 80. We wasn't scoring. It was a 135 to, I don't know, the NBA All-Star was nuts. It was no defense. I was just shooting. It was crazy. I don't even watch it. I just go on now you get everything Instagram. You see everything. I'm like, wow, 100 something. It's just the game has changed. And yes, it's supposed to, but it's just changed a lot. And some old school like I am, it's not basketball. You know, you got to be a little more instead of the All-Star game is different. It could be 103 to 99, but 130, 35 is nuts. You know, I was watching. I've seen some of the holler. It's like slow motion. God's not playing defense. Throw the ball. The game has changed a great deal, and we must just understand that. But it'll get different playoffs. Now they say they want to cut games off. They're going to cut games down. So I was used to playing 82 games. 41 home, 41 away. And you had to play all the games, period. Now, guys be like, hey, I'm taking this game off. What they call it? What they call
Load management.
Load management. I wish it was load management. I'm like, we getting on this right. We just chilling. Come on.
Right.
The fans start getting it. Like, I come to watch my player that I'm excited, and he can't play. It's, he's sitting out with load management, with injuries and all that. Come on. Like, certain guys is for real with the injury. Certain guys is resting. That's the game. That's the nature of the beast. That's where the money is, and you just got to deal with it. But the NBA, that's why I watch a lot of college games. I'm a college coach, so I love the college game. I don't watch playoff until the playoffs, but it's just different. The game has changed. And I keep saying different eras. If I played in this era, I'd score 25 points, 25 and 10. It'd be easy.
Averages triple-double.
You smile. You shoot free throws. I probably shoot 10 free throws a game. It's softer. And them guys are big too. But you will never, and then they playing, shooting. The game has changed back. It's different.
For sure. A couple minutes left. Any closing words that you have for aspiring athletes out there and just people in life in general?
Yeah, it's inspiring athletes out there and people just work hard, man. Just work hard on your craft. If it's basketball, if it's dentist, lawyer, doctor, you trying to make it, you got to work extremely hard on your craft. I tell my guys every day, just work on your body, work on your shot, your dribbling, everything. It might happen for you, but it might not. And if it don't, you still prepared yourself. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared to work hard in anything you do in life. And I talk to my guys today and enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself doing what you're doing. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy that every morning going to practice. I enjoy it. And you should be enjoying it to come and play. If you don't enjoy it, do something else. Do something else. Don't be stressed out. And that's all of us, Now, some people, you want to take a job just for the money. That's what you do. But you stress, you mad every day after work. I get it. But you did that. Then you might not have a job opportunity where you're at or whatever. So you got to take the job you have and just keep moving. But you just got to love what you're doing and just work extremely hard. That's all. Real simple. Everybody, just work hard and enjoy yourself, and you'll get it. You'll get it. You might not get it right away, but you got to continue with the hard work, and you can turn things around. And this enough, you can turn things around in a year. Stressing, mad, yeah. Next year, boom, you be up. You got to stay positive. Always stay positive. Also, that's one thing I say to my guys: stay positive. It's rough right now. It's rough, but we can get it. We can get it with a lot of work ethic. and come and enjoy your family. If it's your team, your family, enjoy it. If you got a knucklehead on the team or a knucklehead in your family, leave that knucklehead alone. That's what you got to do. You got to leave them alone to grow as a human being. So that's what I would tell.
Great advice. Again, we thank you for your time that you took today to come on to the Hometown Legends podcast series. We wanted to recognize you for your many contributions to the game and to the culture of basketball, and we appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate y'all doing this. And much love always, always.
Much love. Much love. We appreciate everyone for tuning in today with another edition of the Hometown Legends podcast series with today's special guest, NBA legend and basketball legend, Mr. Kenny Anderson.